Now, remember where we left off last time, which was you guys were leaving the port of Kiera. You were going to go look for the Red Wizard. And then all of a sudden you had a random encounter with some brigands that you were actually going to transport, some prisoners. You were going to transport them up into the Coker Mountains. And you had a random encounter, and one of your captives that you were going to transport, his brother named Cletus, you guys remember this, and then my internet got shut off because I was moving. So you guys just we're going to get into an encounter with Cletus and Poop. Well, Cletus, the brother of Poop. And that's where we basically just abruptly ended because of my internet getting cut off. So the short is, the fight happens, and just as the fight starts, all of a sudden, a mist comes up from the water, because you guys are still on the docks, and a portal opens up. And out of the portal comes Teresa the Red. And Teresa the Red comes out. She is distraught, and it looks like she's already been battling. Well, she basically cast an equivalent of like a time stop spell, and everybody is frozen. And then one by one, you start to come to. Well, she explains that she has actually figured out the puzzle for the names of the three hags. And that's where she had just came from. She had been into a fight with one of the other grand wizards of Charybdis. She thought she was the only one, but she wasn't. So your crew is there. You've got Teresa there. You've got Cletus and Poop. Basically, basically the town guard come and get everybody and take them. They take everybody back because Teresa basically just starts barking commands. And she says that the witches are now vulnerable, and she said that she needs to borrow your ship because she has to get to the center of Charybdis, which is, basically it's the storm in the middle of the sea. So she has basically told you that she is going to take care of the witches, she's going to take care of the hags, and she has also found out that this Markesh that you are looking for has left the world. The hags sent him to another plane. And this plane is basically the plane of the Shadowfell, as what she calls it. And what has happened is Markesh, she tells you that she found out that she is basically the apprentice of a very powerful demi-lich by the name of Asuryarach, or Asarak, however you want to say it. And the demi-lich had been working with the hags in Charybdis, and that's how all these portals started opening from all around the different planes and the different worlds. Well, Markesh was called back to basically the plane of the Shadowfell, or the Shadowfell plan. And she had just found this out. So she's going to need your boat, your crew, Gilligan, Skipper, the Professor and Marianne, all the Gilligan's Island crew. Going to need everybody. And she's also got an armada of Spanish ships, Chinese ships, German ships, and English ships, and also the Massaquoyan army, and also all of the army of the squid faces. What are they called again? The God bless it, the Krakens. Yeah, the Krakens. So she says she has an armada of 100 ships that is going to meet her in the center of the world, and they are going to fight the hags to try to end this Charybdis from drowning. She says she has this under control. She feels confident that they should be able to beat the hags. And she's telling you to take this portal. And she opens up this portal, and it is it looks like a very gloomy, overcast area. And off into the distance, you can see this very large hill off into the distance. And you can see that it's kind of surrounded by a what appears to be maybe a town, because there's like little smoke plumes and stuff coming up, but you haven't gone through the portal yet. And she tells you that this is the plane of the Shadowfell plane, and this is where the two individuals you are looking for, Markesh and Mr. Spoony. And she tells you this place is of great danger. This is a Suryurak's lair, and this lair is called the Tomb of Horrors. And this is where you're going to need to find Markesh and Mr. Spoony. That's if you survive. She says this is a very dangerous place. She says this is not for the average adventurer. Only heroes need to go into this place. And she looks you all up and down. She says, I think you have what it takes to beat the Tomb of Horrors. And then she kind of chuckles and shit and says, yeah, right. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you guys are off to the Shadowfell plane. You guys are needing to go to the Tomb of Horrors and find and end this once and for all with Markesh. And also, and actually, one other thing, she looks down towards little Lily and she says, I need you to stay here, Lily, with me. And on the other side of the portal, you can see Vey standing there. And remember, during the storm, you lost Vey.
Yeah, she got blown away.
Yeah, she's on the other side of the portal. The Shadowfell plane, guys. The Tomb of Horrors. What do you think about that? And you'll find this is where you're going to find not only Markesh and Spoony, but a Suryurak as well. That's if he's there. Cat got y'all's tongue?
Well, Captain Shen, what do you think?
Well, I think we got a crew member on the other side of the portal that we got to go. She was a member of the crew before Lily. Been fun looking out for you, Lily, but we got to go help Vey now. And we got a score to settle with Markesh.
Darganos said he's got to go below deck for a couple of minutes. He said, I'll see you through the other end of the portal.
But don't let it close on you, Darganos.
She says she'll keep it open for a little while.
Does that mean you're going to be normal, Omi? That could be some squid?
That's a good question. I don't know. Tressa, will I keep this appearance, or will I have my own half-elf body back?
Your original form will probably be in your body again. So basically, you'll I guess, she says, I would imagine you would probably transform back into the elf that you were.
Well, I had kind of grown used to this, but I can't say I'm not happy. I wouldn't be happy to have my old body back.
Well, maybe we'll see you again in this world. Again,
your
Omi,
spoon skills might drop down. Less limbs.
Yeah, you spoons. It's kind of hard to play spoons with tentacles, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. It is a lot easier to play spoons with fingers. Well, thank you for everything here, Tressa. Here, take one of my spoons to remember me by.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. And she puts it into one of the pockets in her robe.
No T-shirt.
I was waiting for that. So she says this Tomb of Horrors is under that lonely hill of Grim. And she says it is a massive labyrinth of a crypt. She says it is filled with terrible traps, and but a few strange and ferocious monsters that you'll have to slay. She says it is also filled with riches and treasures, both precious and magical. But in addition to the aforementioned guardians, there is also a Suryurak, and his 2 minions. His apprentice is Markish, and then the apprentice of Markish is Mr. Spoony. And she says, be warned that this Demilish Asoyurak, he possesses powers that make him nearly undefeatable. But she says, be careful.
Markesh is the one I'm after.
Mm-hmm. She says, you'll find him there. He was just called back to the Shadowfell plane. But she says the passages and the rooms of this tomb are fraught with traps, all kinds of dangerous poison gases and magical protections. And she says he has hidden everything so well that it's not detected. Some of this is not detected by magic. And she says only the most well-prepared and the bravest and the strongest will be able to attempt this. But she says nothing is guaranteed. This is so dangerous that I would say at least one of you will probably perish, if not more. But be careful, my friends. And she asked everybody, I will give each of you one gift. And you have to be very prepared for this labyrinth. It is, she can't stress it enough that it is very dangerous. And she says, what potion or scroll would all of you like to have? And she asked Nothray, what would you like to have, Nothray? As a blank, like an empty bottle and a quill and a piece of parchment appear in front of her.
I would like a potion of resurrection.
Okay. A potion of, well, let's say a scroll of raised dead. How about a scroll of raised dead?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. All right. Can you go into the items and drag a scroll of raised dead onto your character sheet? And she says, that's a good choice, by the way, Nothray. And then she looks over at you, Omi, and she says, what would you like, Omi? One scroll or one potion?
Well, now, that's a big decision.
I actually found that. I'll put that on your sheet for you, Nothray.
All right, thanks.
Well, I once saw this wizard put up this thing called a wall of force once. Would you be able to put that on a scroll for me?
I could put that on a scroll for you. Disintegration, anything you want. You want wall of force?
Yeah. How about a scroll? If you could do that for me.
She says, I've got you covered. And the quill starts to scribe on the piece of parchment. Takes just a few minutes, and you've got your wall of force. It says expensive scroll.
Thank you, Tressa.
You're most welcome. And remember, you guys can cast these spells with a DC 10 plus spell level too. So if they're higher level, you'll have a chance to be successful with the way that I'm doing scrolls. So she looks over towards. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Omi.
Is it Arcana skill to cast from scrolls?
Yes, or Wisdom if it's a cleric spell. She looks over towards you, Shen, and she says, what potion or scroll would you like?
I would like potion or scroll, whichever's easiest. Protection from evil.
Okay. Protection from evil and good. It will be a scroll. You want detect or protection?
Protection.
Okay. Your wish is my command. And you've got a scroll of protection from evil and good now. All right. There you go. She looks over towards you. Well, she looks Actually, a magic mouth appears in front of you, Vey, on the other side while you're standing there at the entry point to the Shadowfell, and she asks you, what potion or scroll would you like? A scroll of Raised Dead. You've got it. Actually, scroll of resurrection. Is that what you wanted as well? That's what you wanted also, right, Nothray? Scroll of resurrection.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to give you the scroll of resurrection because I thought they moved it to Raised Dead. So just I'll delete that scroll of Raised Dead off of your sheet, and then for Vey, I'm also giving you a scroll of resurrection. All right, so there we go. And then finally, she looks over towards you, Zero, and she says, "What would you like, Zero? Oh, powerful wizard."
Oh, I was thinking of a
Any
scroll. Any.
Wish anything you like.
I was thinking of wish, but that's a lot of. What is that?
That's a DC 19 to
To
be
roll
successful.
19.
But it's a wish spell, so that would be pretty. She says, if you would like wish, your wish would be my command.
That sounds good.
All right, scroll of wish.
Yeah. Yep.
You can have meteor swarm. You can have anything you want, man.
I know. I'm looking at it.
It's a hard DC to hit, though.
I know. I was looking at Firestorm though, but
If you want
That's what
firestorm,
it's
you can have firestorm if you want.
yeah, give me that.
Okay.
I felt that time stop. It was like 6 weeks staring at those pirates.
If you want that, you can have that also, or whatever you want. I put firestorm on your.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. And Vey, you wanted reincarnation instead of resurrection? Okay. All right, there you go. Would you like that, Nothray, or are you good to go, or what would you like?
I'm good to go. I think resurrection we might be able to utilize if it's as bad as they say it is.
Okay.
Can't
Sounds
go
good.
wrong with that one.
You guys are you guys are preparing for the worst. It is rated one of the most popular adventures in the history of Dungeons and Dragons. So. All right. And she says she'll get with Darganoth as soon as he comes up from grab-assing with Marianne down below deck.
I think he's getting all the scroll of. He needs a scroll of protection.
Well,
from venereal disease.
she pulls out of one of her pockets a scroll of resist venereal disease. Oh my god! She pulls out the dagger that he had. Remember the dagger of venom that he was missing? She's kind of twirling it around in her fingers, and she says, I wonder if he'll miss this. And she says, who wants this? If you want to play with him, feel free to play with him. And so she's like, who wants the dagger? You can give it to him later, seeing that he's not here to get it from me. Anybody want to hold on to it?
I'll take it.
All right. So you've got the dagger of venom. All right, so she says, I hope that I will not destroy your ship, but chances, the odds are against me. She's leading the charge, so... All right, so she says, best wishes, my friends, and she says that she will find you in time. And she
Thank
says
you
you're
for
always...
everything, Tressa.
Oh,
Good luck
you're
to
very
you.
welcome.
Make sure
We'll
Lily
need it.
gets a pony, Tressa.
Mhm. Oh,
Gilligan will help you out.
I'll make sure that little Lily gets a pony. That's right, because Lily got something too. So she went ahead and just conjured up a pony for Lily with a nice bright pink saddle, and rainbow colors all over the place, like a rainbow colored mane and like a horn. Oh yeah. Lily says, rest in peace, my friends. All right, so the portal is open, and through it you see not only Vey, but off into the distance you also see a huge hill that looks like it's like a slum town or something like that, with smoke rising up from it, and some giant round monument or something on the top of the hill. And also, I've given you guys a full rest and everything. Zero says you cast Firebolt on her dolly. What a dick.
She said R.I.P., so I said goodbye.
Right. All right. You guys head through the portal. Vases O snap. So you find Vey. She's on the other side of the portal. She
Hey, Vey.
looks
Hey,
like
Vey,
Good to
where
see
you
you,
been?
Vey.
she hasn't aged a day. It seems like.
What happened to you, Vey?
She says she's still wet as she's wringing her robes, wringing her armor off. So before you guys... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say, has she had any time to survey the area? Does she have any intel of what we're up?
She's actually just getting there as well, so she hasn't really had any time to check things out yet. All of you are basically getting there at the same time.
Must have been a hell of a broom ride.
Right?
She was riding a broom on her flying broom when that happened, right?
Yeah, that was quite a storm, Vey. You wouldn't believe what happened to us on the other side. And I'll proceed to tell Vey the whole story.
Yeah, like 5 minutes ago, Omi had tentacles.
She could actually see that through the teleport. You could see her doing the tilted head thing a couple times. She says, "What storm? I woke up here." So as you guys are in the Shadowfell plane now, before you, as you guys walk for several hours, and before you is a very low flat-topped hill. This hill is probably a couple hundred yards wide, probably about 300 yards long, and probably about 60 to 100 feet high. And as you come up to this, what appears to be a stone wall, as you get closer, all of you are thinking, holy crap, that is the weirdest looking stone. But it's not stone. It's a wall made of skulls. And they're just piled up, and there's a couple of guard towers with no guards in the guards towers. But even the guards towers are made out of skulls. And what you thought was a city around this hill is not. It's just more and more skulls. Millions of them. I mean, millions of them.
Any with
And
gold teeth?
Any with gold teeth? I don't know. Give me a perception check, and we'll see if you find any with gold teeth. So there's all kinds of big, ugly weeds and thorns and all kinds of briar vines. Looks like they would cut you wide open, and they're growing from coming out of the skull's mouths, the eye sockets, and you find as you're kind of kicking the skulls and kind of moving them around. You don't see any of the any gold teeth on any of the skulls. It looks like if there were any, it was already stripped off by someone or something. But these skulls, they look like black rocks, but a huge black rock, especially the hill. And as you go through you open up the gate, you actually see that, wow, that's not a hill of skulls. That is a giant skull. And this is the image of, as you walk through the gate, that's what you see. And it is a huge human skull. Just, piles of skulls. There's millions of skulls everywhere. The giant skull has 2 eye holes, a nose hole. It looks just like a human skull.
Hey, Nathray, you ever seen anything like that from where you're from?
Not quite that big or crazy, but I've seen some crazy stuff.
This is the Shadowfell, and all of you have heard of the Shadowfell. It's not like this is a plane that you haven't heard of. This is one of the more desolate planes. It's not like the plane of fire or earth or anything like that. This is obviously one of the planes of death. Obviously, as you can see, with the millions of skulls and the giant 60 to 100 foot skull in front of you. So as you guys are, I don't know, are you guys wading up to the skull, or are you guys kind of looking for gold teeth, or what?
I'm trying to, since we're on a different plane, I'm going to try to contact Vorn. Maybe I can sense him in this plane.
No, you do not have any contact with Vorn, unfortunately.
Omi looks at one of the skulls and says, "This guy doesn't look like he flossed much."
You just hear a cackle echo throughout the distance and throughout the air. You just hear sort of like a crypt keeper from HBO, one of his cackles.
Is the gate open, or are we on the other side of the gate?
No, you guys have opened up the gate, and
Okay.
you guys are walking closer to the giant skull.
So we should be careful and kind of look around. It looks like there's a bunch of homes, maybe. Could be, who knows who's in these homes.
Yeah, there's actually no homes. It's just piles of skulls.
Okay, it looks like houses leading up to the skull.
Yeah, it does. I'm just, for vision's sake, I wanted to give that to you. And I was saying to myself, I hope no one asks about those houses, but
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I'll tell you this: as you get closer, they were illusions, and they just disappear, and there are more piles of skulls there.
All right.
Well, do you guys want to have lunch before we head in there?
You guys could if you want. Yeah, sure.
I'm like so hungry now after seeing all these skulls.
Hey, you gonna cook us up something special?
You got the
Yeah.
spice kit?
I'll cook up something with Eton's spice kit, and give everyone one point bonus to saving throws.
Ooh, very nice. So, you want to do the cooking on top of the skull?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, sure. That would probably be the best bet to do it. Nothing happens. You're able to, cook and get a fire going, but it was pretty much the safest and probably most stable place to actually have a fire. And you don't see any sign of life. You don't see anything. No worms are climbing through the eye holes or anything like that. It's just a bunch of skulls and the smell of death. and it's very humid too, and like a very light mist is rising from the basically just the whole entire land is filled with skulls. You don't see any grass, no dirt, nothing. The skulls are the dirt. They are the ground. And you can even dig down, and as far as you dig down, it's just nothing but skulls. So what say you, adventurers, now that you've had a quick rest? I'll say that I'm not even going to count that towards your long rest for the day.
Well, you guys want to head on in, or do you want to hear some spoon music first?
Head in.
So why don't you guys? There's no obvious. I mean, even where the teeth are, there's no obvious entrance. So why don't all of you, as you guys are kind of looking for an entrance, why don't you give me a perception check, and one of you throw a d6 into the chat for me as well.
Do you want open checks, Dave?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nice roll, Omi. All right, just waiting for Nothray to get that perception check.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. It's on the should be the second tab, skills tab.
There it is.
Oh. So seeing that both of you had such a great roll, let's see. I'm going to share a map with you. I'm going to put you guys on the map. I'm actually going to take Darganoth out. Take Darganoth off of the map as well. Ooh, I almost deleted all tokens. Okay. You've got everybody targeted as well, so I need to let's see. Your save. Vey, you're not invisible anymore, are you? I don't think you are. I didn't. Or are you invisible? Okay.
Well, before we head on in, and since I have everyone targeted right now, I'm going to go ahead and cast a Spoon of Courage on everyone, using a second level spell slot and a third level spell slot, and then I will use my Pearl of Power to get the third level spell slot back.
Wow.
Didn't take him long to get back in the D&D swing of things, did it?
No.
Welcome back, Omi.
All right, so both Omi, you and Nothray, as you guys are poking around, you're taking your weapons and kind of poking into the skulls, and because you were told this is the entrance by Teresa, this is actually the entrance to the Tomb of Horrors. And thank you. As you're poking and prodding around, over on the east side of this massive 300-yard wide, it's like what I think a par 4 is 300 yards, probably about a par 4. Over here, I'm gonna put a. Why don't we go ahead and put a little pointer up here? I think that would be pretty cool. And Fantasy Grounds is running so good. Over here is an entrance. I'm going to enlarge this too. So about right here, there is an entrance. And basically what happens is the skulls just kind of pile in or fall into the earth, and it makes like a very...
Stop talking for everybody?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, now
I must have been talking. I must have pushed the wrong button. I'm sorry. So as you're kind of poking and prodding around, the skulls kind of just kind of fall right into the earth, so to speak, and it makes a ramp down into a what appears to be a 20-foot wide corridor.
I look at Nathray and say, "You ready?"
What can you see down there, Nathray? Your folks are supposed to have good dark vision, aren't they?
So let me move
Yeah.
let me move
Yeah, I
you
do.
two over here. So there's both of you. You guys are kind of at the base of this at the top of the slope, and then you look down and it's about a 15-foot drop, and then you can see that there's a 10-foot wide corridor, and it's still daylight out, so the light is shining into the cave as well, and that's about as far as you can see in.
Don't see much. Just see an entrance into a cave.
Yes,
Anyone
you
bring
do.
any 10-foot poles?
Well, with some of this tape here, I could probably make a 10-foot spoon.
God.
I could do the job.
Yeah, so as you guys look inside of this, the ramp of skulls going down, this corridor before you, it looks like it's made of like a plain stone. And it looks like it was definitely roughly worked and mortared. Definitely not of a dwarvish quality for stonemasonry. And it has a 10-foot high ceiling. And like I said, it's still daylight outside, and you guys are able to see dimly inside of this.
I'm going to look at Omi and say, Markesh is not going to come to us.
No, he is not.
We're going to have to go get him.
That's right, Sean. We're going to have to get him. And hopefully rescue Mr. Spoony, because I'm sure that Markesh got to him.
Yeah, maybe we can change Mr. Spoony's mind by stirring him around.
Heidi ho! Kind of echoes off into the distance. Heidi ho, neighbor!
Did you guys hear that?
So as you guys travel down to the base of the ramp of skulls, it's dimly lit all the way to the back of this 20-foot wide corridor, and it goes about 50 feet. And at the end of this dimly lit 50-foot tunnel, there is a set of doors at the end of the corridor. And like I said, it's 50 foot from the entrance. And like I said, it's unmortared. It's roughly hewn. Doesn't look like they spent a lot of time digging this, basically.
Well, guys, since we don't have Darganath here, unless any of you know anything about traps and doors and such, I guess I'm up.
All right, so just as you guys get to, I forgot to lock the tokens up, and that's easy, big boys. As you get to about right here, whoever was first, you start to feel a slight shifting on the tiles as you step. So why don't I guess it would be probably Nothray and Shen. Why don't you guys give me perception checks?
And the tower open?
Just open, yeah. Wow, nice. Wow, both of you. Yeah, both of you can notice that the floor actually changes from like a solid floor, like a roughly chiseled floor, to a floor that looks earthen still. But as you take that first step, you notice that these are like earthen tiles and they're kind of shifting around, and they don't seem to be very stable, which really sucks because it just doesn't seem stable.
Does his foot go through the floor, or
No, they do. No,
It's just shifting around.
Your foot does not go through. It just kind of shifts, and this is while you're right here. Actually, sorry, move everybody back one square.
It's a good thing I still got my sea legs.
Your sea legs. Too bad you didn't have that peg leg too. You could add a third leg.
you guys
I was
want?
so looking forward to smacking Captain Halfjack.
Captain Halfjack is actually going to help with the Armada against the Sea Hags.
Guys, I've been watching Darganeth do what he does, and I think I can. Well, I can't. I don't claim to be as good as Darganeth at it, but I think I can give it a shot.
Okay. So why don't you give me a perception check?
Always supportive of Omi.
Yeah. Give me a perception check, Omi, as you kind of start looking around at the floor. You're like, it's probably some type of trap, but you don't. As you're kind of looking and breaking out tools and stuff, you're lifting up a couple of tiles, and you're like, this doesn't look that bad. Maybe they just didn't put enough mortar down or grout, and maybe that's why they're sliding around.
Well, guys, it could be some kind of trap, but I'm not the pro at this like Darganeth is, so I'm not really sure. It could also be just somebody didn't know, some kind of artisan didn't know how to put tiles down.
So what do you think?
I'm thinking this is a trap, based on what I've seen.
Well, I'll tap Omi on the shoulder and cast guidance on him and say, "Well, take a closer look."
All right, I'll walk forward and look at the tile that I think is safe to the best of my ability and walk on it, whether that's the one directly in front of me or that's the one diagonal to me.
Well,
or if it's 50.
Yeah,
You wanna
you can
walk
go ahead
on
and
it?
move. Yeah, where you want. Well, you also got Nothray and Shen.
All right,
They
guys.
noticed
And
them
then
at
put the
first.
+4 on you. So
1 to 3, I go straight ahead. 4 to 6, I go diagonal.
Nice. Oh,
All right, I take a diagonal step.
okay. From where you're at now, or
Yeah, yep. To right there.
okay. So as you take this step, a couple of the tiles they start to shift around, and all of a sudden, some dust and some small debris. Excuse me, boy, that Bud Light, man, is falling from the ceiling, and all of a sudden, out to your left, which is on the right on the map, all of a sudden, a very slow piece of what appears to be rock, maybe, is starting to slide out. So basically, as you start hearing stone on stone grinding, this moves out, basically. This, and I'm actually gonna have to uncover this, so my bad on that. So basically, the stone slab starts to move out of the wall.
Like to
Obviously,
block the corridor?
Yeah, the block. Yeah, it looks like it's moving across very slowly. And it looks like it's, as it starts to protrude out from the wall, it looks like this stone slab is about 10 foot thick.
Guys, if we want to get in, we should make a run for it now. It's going really slow, you said?
Yeah, it is. It sure is.
We should make a run for it now if we want to get in here, guys.
That's all I need from Omi is to say go. So I'm going.
Yeah. It looks like after speaking out of character and putting this into round to round terminology,